for the news.
In today's top stories, the intensification military escalation in the Middle East and the Gulf have continued on the 12th consecutive day, with fears of major repercussion on energy markets and global trade. In Lebanon, at least 570 people have been killed, including 86 children, in Israeli attacks since the beginning of March, when the World Health Organization is reviewing information indicating the use of white phosphorus by the occupation aviation. The Sudanese Foreign Ministry has condemned the Rapid Support Forces' continued systematic attacks on civilians and vital infrastructure in Sudan, using drones, considering them full-fledged war crimes that require accountability. Hello and welcome to Radio Algeria International. I'm Jamal Smeni. The Minister of Energy and Renewable Energies, Murad Ajel, has received here in Algiers a delegation from the company El Swadi Electric Algeria, led by its Chief Executive Officer Mustafa Awed, with whom he reviewed the status of cooperation with the Egyptian partner and the progress of the implementation of the agreements concluded with the Sonalgas Group. The details with Mr. Sharfi.
The meeting held at the ministry's headquarters in the presence of several of its executives comes as a part of efforts aimed at strengthening external cooperation and examining ways to expand the prospects of Algeria's international partnership in the energy sector. On this occasion, Mr. Ajal reviewed cooperation between the Sonalgas Group and the company Suwaidi Electric, commending the Egyptian partner for respecting its commitments and stressing the sector's priority of expanding towards external markets, particularly in Africa and the Middle East, while monitoring the possibility of expanding the activities of Suwaidi Electric in Algeria to include the manufacturing of electrical cable accessories, high-voltage electric insulators, and high-voltage transformers. For his part, the company's Chief Executive Officer Mustafa Awad Al-Halwani expressed the willingness of Suwaidi Electric Algeria to expand cooperation with the Sonalgas Group, which he described as an important partner, reaffirming the company's commitment to respect all the agreements concluded between the two parties. At the end of the meeting, Mr. Ajal called for accelerating the pace of work on cooperation projects between Sonalgas and Suwaidi Electric, particularly with regard to the orientation towards African markets, given the expertise of both parties in the industrial field.
Now to the Middle East. The intensification of military escalation in the Middle East and the Gulf have continued to raise serious concerns within the international community, which fears major repercussions on energy markets and global trade, while stressing the urgent need to return to dialogue to limit the impact of this conflict on security, humanitarian conditions, and the global economy. On the 12th consecutive day, tensions have increased and exchanges of airstrikes and missile fire have intensified further in the region, one of the world's main energy crossroads, fueling fears of greater volatility in oil markets. Several analysts warn that an expansion of the conflict could lead to significant rise in oil and gas prices, with direct repercussions on inflation and global economic growth. At least 3 ships were hit near the Strait of Hormuz, which is emerging as the major strategic issue in the Middle East war, raising the risk of major disruptions to the global economy. Today, the Iranian army described ships belonging to the United States, Israel, and their allies as legitimate targets when sailing through the strategic Strait of Hormuz. And meanwhile, they claimed that they had targeted several American bases in Kuwait and Bahrain on the 12th day of the conflict. Now, in Lebanon, the Ministry of Health announced that at least 570 people have been killed, including 86 children and 45 women, as a result of the ongoing Zionist attacks on Lebanon since the beginning of March. At least 20 people were killed and 26 others wounded today in Zionist attacks against several regions of Lebanon. The World Health Organization's representative in Lebanon, Abi Nasir Abu Bakr, said the organization is reviewing information indicating the use of white phosphorus by the occupation aviation in Lebanon. During the press briefing, he said WHO is investigating the situation and monitoring it.
yes, as you recall, in the last conflict, yes, we have documented use of white phosphorus as well as some injuries. But at this time, I think we have received the reports, but we have been in touch to the hospitals, and so far we have not received any injuries associated with the white phosphorus as well as other chemicals that's been used previously. But we are investigating and we are monitoring the situation if in case there are people that's been affected. And remember, some of those areas that's been used, that's been reported, that's been used phosphor is white phosphor is the area that's been evacuated. So probably we may not have that many people in that area, but definitely there are many people that have decided not to leave from their homes in those evacuated areas, and they may be at risk for this white phosphor contamination. But we will continue to monitor, but also will investigate if there is any cases that's been reported.
Meanwhile, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said that the hostilities in southern Lebanon, Baalbek and southern Beirut have displaced over 660,000 people and strained health facilities.
On the ground in Lebanon, our humanitarian colleagues report that nearly the entire population of people living in areas south of the Litani River, parts of Baalbek Governorate and the Bekaa Valley, and large sections of Beirut's southern suburbs are now caught up in hostilities as airstrikes and displacement orders continue. In the past week, more than 660,000 people registered themselves as displaced through the Lebanese government. Health facilities are under growing pressure from trauma cases, while displaced people with chronic illnesses can't access the treatment they need.
Earlier, the European Commission announced the mobilization of emergency humanitarian aid for Lebanon. The Commission stated that food, medical supplies, shelter materials and winter clothing kits will be sent via the World Food Programme and UNICEF. Meanwhile, the UN Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, warned of a major deterioration in the situation in Lebanon due to the Zionist aggression, emphasizing that the accelerated pace of attacks threatens to get out of control. Mr. Shafi has more in this report.
UNIFIL spokesperson Danny Ghaffari said that in recent days the mission recorded intensive shelling, in addition to the entry of Zionist occupation army elements into Lebanese territory, noting that these developments constitute serious violations of UN Security Council Resolution 1701 and must stop immediately, with a return to cessation of hostilities required. Ghaffari explained that the UNIFIL operational area witnessed significant destruction, in addition to widespread damage in other areas of Lebanon, noting that the mission continues attempts to contain the escalation and reduce tensions. Regarding the humanitarian situation in southern Lebanon, the spokesperson referred to a large displacement crisis, noting that more than 700,000 people have left their areas towards safe northern regions. He confirmed that UNIFIL works as much as possible to assist populations still in the operational area by seeking to deliver humanitarian aid, warning that the humanitarian situation has become dangerous, with growing needs at all levels. He added that the mission cooperates with the Lebanese Red Cross to facilitate its humanitarian tasks inside the operational area, and that UNIFIL forces help transport some residents wishing to leave affected areas. He confirmed that peacekeepers remain in their positions in southern Lebanon, noting that the main challenge currently facing UNIFIL is security, stating that the mission has raised alert levels and taken additional measures to ensure the safety of peacekeepers, whose protection remains a top priority.
Now to Africa, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk has expressed his shock at the increasing reports of serious violations during the conflict in South Sudan, which have included killings and destruction of key water resources, calling for an immediate ceasefire in the country. For his part, officer of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Saif Magnago, speaking from Nairobi, stated that they was horrified by growing accounts of serious violations.
We are horrified by the growing accounts of serious violations in the ongoing conflict in South Sudan, including gruesome killings, the destruction and poisoning of key water sources, and fresh waves of mass displacement. Over the past 17 days, more than 160 civilians have been killed, at least 139 by fighters from the Bul Nuer ethnic group in Abiyanon locality in the Ruweng administrative area on the 1st of March. Some of these acts may amount to war crimes. There must be prompt, impartial, thorough, and effective investigations into these and all other allegations of violations of the laws of war and of international human rights law which are taking place. All those found responsible must be fully held to account, including those bearing superior and command responsibility.
The Sudanese Foreign Ministry has condemned the Rapid Support Forces' continued systematic attacks on civilians and vital infrastructure in Sudan during drones, considering them